What's up, guys? Welcome back. Me and JD are back at it. Episode 27, I believe.
Yep, 27. Wow.
So
Congrats
getting
on
up
that
there.
video.
And we're gonna come out swinging this time. So we're gonna kind of get right into it. NBA headed towards the All-Star break. The playoff picture definitely starting to take shape. We're starting to see who's contenders and who's fault. The standings are really starting to kind of take shape now. The East and West are really different though. It's kind of wide open in the East. Everybody's bunched up together. It's definitely wide open in the East. Everybody's I think it's anybody's ball game in the Eastern Conference. So let's get right into it, man. Let's jump right into this, and let's talk NBA at the All-Star break. So standings are definitely taking shape. Who's your favorites so far? Who do you like?
Ooh, that's a good question. Who do I like? Interesting. Yeah, I like how we start off right there. Who I like to win it all? Give me the Warriors, dude. Give me the freaking Warriors, dude. Because you got this. The thing the Warriors were struggling with KD is exactly what their strength is now, and that's depth. Like you talk about depth with this team, they're 10 deep. They can they have 7 guys who can drop 20. So that alone, give me the Warriors. Give me the Warriors. How about you, my friend?
I'm gonna have to agree. I'm gonna go. I think the Warriors are winning it. I do. I think they're gonna be hard to stop. And they just play well together. They're just a solid team. I am gonna take the Warriors as well. They're going to be tough to beat, man. That with everybody healthy and just playing the way they're playing and the way they turn it up in the playoffs, the way they can crank it up is I think it's hard to match.
Well, they've retooled too with a lot of young guys who, whenever Clay's been hurt and Steph even got hurt for half a year, all these guys got a ton of playing time and they got a ton of attention. Basically, they got a ton of they got the ball and everything. So you have emergences, like the emergence of Jordan Poole, of Toscano Anderson. You got the emergence of Gary Payton Jr. this year, obviously. Last year he was okay, but this year he's just wow, you're a really good defensive player. You can dunk and you can shoot threes. Where did that come from? And then you have all types of guys. And Looney's a solid guy. You got a ton of. I'm just talking about bench players right now. And then obviously you have Steph, Clay, Draymond Green, and then Andrew. Let's talk about Andrew Wiggins for a second. Did anyone see this coming? Andrew Wiggins was always a really good player, but he's taken his efficiency up to the next level. Him and Steph Curry are the only all-stars on the Warriors because he's that good, and nobody talks about him because he's Andrew Wiggins. He's not a sexy player, you know what I mean? He doesn't do anything too crazy, but he's efficient now, especially playing with Curry now that he's the fourth option sometimes. And I mean, it's a beautiful thing. The Warriors, they've got a beautiful thing going on for sure. Another team I like is I like the Bucks because it feels like they kind of been coasting and cruising, and coasting. And then all the Lakers come around. Well, I'm going to drop 50 on your head, says Giannis. So Giannis has a level of I feel like he'll show up in the playoffs. I feel like Giannis is going to go nuts in the playoffs. So I'd be pretty shocked if it wasn't the Bucks and the Warriors. But another team, I mean, we could talk about a lot of different teams. Which one do you think is the second best chance?
The second best, maybe the Bucks, maybe.
I was thinking the 76ers too, but we'll have to see what this trade kind of.
See, we'll talk about them.
Yeah.
About them in a sec.
I find it interesting.
But I mean, like obviously you have your big favorites. You got, in the West, you have the outside of the outside of Golden State. I mean, it's kind of wide open behind them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, it's. I feel like Golden State. Well, another player, another team is the Suns, who are obviously the best team in the NBA. They obviously can't be, ignored because they do have the number one record. But at the same time, I look at it like with the Warriors, it's like they have the kind of the hunger. They have the young guys in the hunger, and they have the guys who were young during the dynasty years, but now are the leaders like Steph, Clay, and Draymond. And then they brought Andre Iguodala back. So you have a lot of leadership as well as a bunch of young guys who are really hungry. I like the Warriors coming out of the West, but the Suns, I wouldn't be shocked either because they are still that team that they were last year in the playoffs. So the West is very interesting.
The Suns too. Everybody discount. I think a lot of people. Yeah, the Suns can't be thrown aside either. They're a really scrappy team as well. They I don't know if they'd be able to beat the Warriors, but they would probably make it interesting.
I find it like I always look at Steph Curry's record against CP3 in the playoffs, and Steph Curry always wins. It happens so many times. So like that's something that comes up. CP3 wants revenge for all the times that Steph Curry has stolen a potential Western Conference title from him, because it's been like 4 times I think they met in the playoffs, and Steph got. I'm gonna have to look that up, but it's been a lot of times in the last decade that CP3 just made it to the finals. Steph made it 2 years ago. There's some bad blood there. They're number 1 and 2 in the West. So the West, is top heavy as it is still incredibly interesting. It's incredibly interesting. It's fascinating, in fact. Bill says, what do you think of Josh McDaniels? Why don't we talk about Bill's thing for a second, and we can move back over to the NBA, because I know we have plenty of topics. But he wanted to know something about Josh McDaniels to see. So Bobby can talk about how Josh McDaniels is taking all the coaches from the Patriots, and boy, ain't Bill Belichick pissed off right now. What do you think about that, Bobby? I haven't heard. This is news.
He did take a few, but we've always kind of had that next. This is gonna be very interesting because with Josh gone, they need an offensive coordinator, and they have to pick the right guy. I want Bill O'Brien back because of what he did. Because of how he worked with Brady in the early years and how well that worked. I want Bill O'Brien back. I don't want Adam Gase. I don't want Joe Judge. I don't want any of these other scrubs. I want a guy who's done it before.
Mm-hmm.
And
head coach.
Yeah, I want a guy who's done it before. I want Bill O'Brien or not, or I'm not going to be satisfied with anything less than Billy O'Brien. I don't think it's going to work out too well with anybody else in that position.
Well, as bad as the Houston thing ended, it started really well. They made the playoffs multiple times, won the division a couple times. You could argue a couple years ago that Bill O'Brien was the most successful Belichick tree coach besides obviously Michael Vrabel, but I feel like his success has been kind of recent too. So, there's been a few guys, I guess, that have had some success outside of Belichick. But Bill O'Brien is a good coach. I don't think it can be argued that he's at least a good coach. Same thing with like Matt Nagy. I think he's a good coach. It's just it's not working out anymore, and it's kind of the house of cards is falling down. Basically, is what's happening. So sometimes you need a new face. Matt Patricia coming back, that'd be interesting too. He said, "What about?"
So he is back. Patricia is back, and I don't like any of it. I don't like any of it.
You don't like it. He stinks of the Lions' failure. Oh man,
I don't like any of it. None of it.
We all hope you're feeling well, Bobby, says Raphael. Much love and blessings, El Capitan.
I appreciate it, man.
What up, Raphael? Hell yeah, man.
So let's kind of dive into the next NBA topic we got.
All right, let's do it.
Let's talk let's talk about Ben Simmons.
It's interesting.
He's with a new team.
He's talking a lot now. Saying some things.
he's with a new team. He's with the Brooklyn Nets. Is that going to work, or is it just going to be another? See, so let's go a little farther. All right, right. This isn't mental health with Ben Simmons. This is Simmons. So? This is Simmons. Like, he's his own worst enemy. He's his own worst enemy. Mental health is one thing. It's serious, right? And if this were mental health, he would be taking a completely different approach to this. This is nothing to do with mental health. This is him just being just acting like a fool.
I think Shaq. I listened to Shaq's take on this, and I actually found it to be very interesting, because it's very true what Shaq said. Because Shaq, if you remember, Shaq, he got made fun of, he got booed, he got told he was too big and stupid, and he couldn't make free throws and all these things, and he got relentlessly attacked by people from all different sides of life, and he said there's one thing about there's mental health. Where, okay, I have to get my mind right and everything. I have to get prepared. And then there's doing your job. And when you are doing your job, some of that job is taking massive amounts of criticism. And you can't just say, okay, well, now I'm taking these massive amounts of criticism, therefore I have mental health. Well, then you shouldn't have taken the money. That's kind of what Shaq was saying. He's like, you're a $40 million guy. You gotta take criticism like a $40 million guy. Mm-hmm. So I agree with Shaq, and I think that, it comes with the territory. When you're an NBA basketball player, when you have reached the pinnacle of any profession, in fact, any profession, it doesn't matter if you're Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or Ben Simmons. You are one of the greatest at your profession in the entire world. People are going to come at you. They're going to come at you. So do I think that Ben Simmons needs to get his mind right? Maybe talk with someone about his issues, maybe reflect a little bit. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he had nothing but yes men growing up. Maybe everyone just told him, you're the best, Ben, and he never matured to take criticism, because we all have to take criticism in life, even if it's completely unfair. And I think that definitely seeps onto Ben Simmons, and that's a maturity thing. You have to grow up now. You're a professional basketball player. You're spotlight millions of people. 5 to 10 million people watch you in the playoffs. So if you want that smoke, if you want to stay in this league, you have to be able to take that. It's just bottom line.
Yeah. That's the way I see it. No doubt. No doubt. See, people it's in no way, shape, or form mental health. Simmons is, from the beginning, Simmons has been his own worst enemy.
It's hard to argue that he hasn't. That's pretty much it. He's probably saying bad things to himself in his head. Okay, people, but you have to tune all of that out. You know what I mean? You have to think if Tom Brady listened to the haters. Think if Tom Brady listened to the freaking haters, man. Think if Michael Jordan did. If you want to be great, you have to tune it all out. Just keep on going. Keep trucking forward in life. So, yeah, I don't like it. I do. He did say, okay, now I'm feeling great. I'm happy. I'm ready for this new chapter. Good for you, man. You know what? I hope it works. But here's the thing. If it doesn't work, there's no more excuses. You can't say, well, now my mental health is bad. Nah, because now you're taking the money again. You're taking your paycheck back. You're hopping back on the bull. So if you wanted to quit basketball, then you should have quit basketball.
Yeah,
that's what it is. If you want to quit basketball, now there's there's mental health, because now you're taking the check. If I'm paying you the money, there's no excuse anymore. So that's what it is. Let's see. Bill said, I'll read it all. Bill, I was in the zone, bro. Got a lot on my brain. He said, Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant ain't gonna be good together. Won't be surprised if it turns into a fist fight. See, yeah, and that's my thing. It's on paper, okay, if I was playing NBA 2K, right, and I put Ben Simmons on a team, and I put Kyrie Irving on the wing, and I put Kevin Durant obviously at the 3 or 4. That's a really good team on paper, theoretically, with Seth Curry too. It's a really, really good team, in fact. But you got Kyrie Irving, where you don't really know exactly how committed he is. And I'm not talking about anything with his personal life or his health or anything like that. I'm talking about, okay, he's hurt. He's talked about retirement. He's had a few different, like, off the field things. He's talking about, like, politics a lot. You don't know where Kyrie Irving is 150% on the team. You have Kevin Durant, who's completely and utterly committed, so you can build around him. And you have Ben Simmons. Where's his mind at? So that's I agree with you. You have multiple potential head cases, and with that, it could be a volatile situation.
So Ben Simmons is on the Nets. There's another person on the Nets that we could talk about as well, and let's do that a little bit. Let's do that a little bit, and let's talk about Philly. And or not, no, I mean, there's one person that was on the Nets that left, and he's on a new team now.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk Harden. Will the James Harden experiment work in Philadelphia? What do you think?
So it's kind of like the same thing as the Nets. Like, on paper, it should work. You know what I mean? It should work. And I think, actually, theoretically speaking and literally speaking, I think it probably will work versus the Nets. I actually think the Nets have a higher likelihood of blowing up, the locker room blowing up, or something happening, or one of those stars leaving. James Harden is exactly where he wants to be. He wants to play for Daryl Morey. He likes Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey is his yes man. I'm sure there's going to be a tampering investigation attached to this situation, because I guarantee Daryl Morey was behind the scenes telling him, "Oh, ask for a trade." So
come on now, there's no doubt. Of course there.
Yeah, there is definitely a lot. This was about as shady as it. This is one of the shadiest trade situations in the entire history of the NBA. This is straight up just like, oh, the trade deadline's a week away. Let's just alert the press that James Harden wants to leave. That wasn't obvious. That wasn't non-subtle as hell. No, that was pretty. It worked though. That's the thing. It truly proves that the NBA is a player-driven league, like 100%. So will it work? I think it will, because I think that I think that Harden respects Joel Embiid. Harden doesn't respect everyone, especially not fellow guards or fellow wings. He absolutely does not. So I think he respects Embiid, and I think that helps a lot. He's called him the best big man in the league. He's called him one of the best players in the league. If you're willing to trust Embiid to be Embiid, and you don't just like hog the ball the whole time, then I don't see how it doesn't work. Because Harden's gonna think about the pick and roll game. It's gonna be ridiculous. It's gonna be it might be the greatest if they do it right. It will be the greatest pick and roll game in the history of basketball. Like, besides maybe Kobe and Shaq. Like, I just can't imagine like it going wrong. Like, okay, if two people close on Harden, you pass it to Embiid, and Embiid has a mismatch. If you don't close it on Harden, Harden does a step back three. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. So it should work. And Harden as the main ball handler, I think that'll help him too. He's got a lot of playmakers in Philly. So I think it could work. It has a higher likelihood of working right now than Brooklyn. But what do you think, my man?
It's either going to go one of two ways for me. This is either going to work really, really good, or it's going to kind of be like the Lakers, where they tried to load up and go for a title, and it blew up in their face. There's going to be no happy medium with that move. It's either going to work really good, like possibly get them in the title picture, or it's going to blow up in their face because Embiid and Harden on the same team are two massive egos.
They are. And that's kind of like why I was encouraged to hear James Harden call Joel Embiid one of the greatest big men in the league, or like and potentially the MVP. The fact that you are saying that like says a lot. Now, does he believe that in his heart of hearts? would he really defer to him? We're going to find out in the basketball court, because that's why we watch the games. That's what we see, because people can talk all they want. You can say all the right things, but will you do the right things? Because here's the bottom line. Joel Embiid is a more efficient bucket than James Harden. So in crunch time, James Harden has to keep in his mind, Joel Embiid gets the ball. It's not my game in crunch time. It's Joel Embiid's game, because he is a monster in crunch time. He's basically Shaq in crunch time.
Mm-hmm.
So you can light up the first 3 quarters, and then you rely on Joel Embiid for the last quarter. That, if they can do that, they will be an incredible team. I don't see how they don't at least make the Eastern Conference Finals with that. That will be amazing, along with the other talent they have. Seth Curry is a huge loss, but yeah, exactly. It's a big deal for sure. It could work.
Like I said, there's going to be no happy medium. It's either going to work really good. It's either going to work really good because Harden's going to take pressure off of Embiid, and Embiid's going to be able to have free reign on the court, because you have to, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. All of this depends on how well James Harden wants to, like, does he want to be a team guy and play his role on the team and help, you know what I mean? Or does he want to be the me guy? He's always been. This is all going to fall on him.
I agree. It's all on Harden, because that's already Joel's team. That's his team, and he's proved it over the last few years. So Harden has to come in and say, okay, where do I fit? Where's my talents best? My talents aren't probably, like I said, in the fourth quarter, your talents are not best used, like ISOing and stopping the ball and everything like that. It's not used like that. Joel Embiid is that guy. He is that dude where you can just give him the ball and he will get a 50 to 60% score. So in my opinion, it's very possible that the Sixers get a lot better. But like you said, if they're not, if their attitudes don't match up, or if their egos clash, it's a recipe for disasters, just like Kobe and Shaq. So
we have a resident Sixer fan in the house, and she says they still don't have a bench. They still don't have.
Yep.
Yeah. So they still need help on the bench, which they do. They do. They need some help off the bench for sure. But instantly the starting 5 just got better. Instantly.
Oh yeah. And I think that Harden, he says, Kyler Murray, we can talk about that in a second, Bill. That's interesting. I'll have to see who's reporting that. But I believe you. But I feel like that's you can get so far with that. And when you have a dominant big man, though, you can really do anything. I mean, we've seen that with a lot of big men in the past. So, I think they have a good chance. I think they have a good chance to be one of the best teams in the league. I don't know if it'll happen this year. I don't know if they're going to make it mesh this year. But it is something to think about. Is that confirmed, Bill? Who's reporting that, Bill?
This says, as of 4 hours ago, Kyler Murray advised to leave Arizona Cardinals.
He was advised to leave?
Advised to leave Arizona Cardinals as of 4 hours ago.
Interesting. Okay. That's very, very fascinating.
So breaking news.
That is breaking news.
So Kyler Murray. So breaking news for the show. Kyler Murray has been advised to leave the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I want to know, who are these who's advising him to do this? Is it his agent? Are these talks between him and his agent? Is this a friend leaking this information, or what that's what I would want to know.
Well, I don't know, but I'm interested. I'm definitely interested. Shoot, I would trade. I'd trade a lot for Kyler Murray. I don't know if I'd trade Justin Fields, but interesting.
Like I said, I would just be curious. I would just be curious to know who the advisors are. I assume
it's his agent, right? Because because
It's probably his agent.
Because Josh Allen got paid, Patrick Mahomes got paid, Dak Prescott got paid. That's the guy who's in the window. Lamar Jackson did not get paid. Baker Mayfield did not get paid, and Kyler Murray has not gotten paid. And they're all in the same kind of like pavement window, that end of the rookie year salary cap. Josh Allen, literally, I'm pretty sure is the same year or a year before. I forgot exactly. But I think that is a really big deal. Who is, that Adam Anderson just asked the question that I'm about to ask. Who's willing to pay him? Because I think that's what it comes down to. Now you have to give up draft picks. If he asks for a trade, the leverage is kind of low, so they're not going to get as much. But it is kind of fascinating to me that he would leave after they just had a really good season. They have DeAndre Hopkins. And also something that kind of bothers me about Kyler Murray, not really bothers me, but would give me cause for concern if I'm going to pay him money, is Kyler Murray. His stats are like, I think 40% better when it's at least the yards per game. It's like 40% better with DeAndre Hopkins. So when DeAndre Hopkins, before DeAndre Hopkins, he wasn't as good. After DeAndre Hopkins, he's a lot better. And once DeAndre Hopkins got hurt, he got worse. And now he wants a lot of money. So I'm not saying that he's not worth, a good contract, but that's definitely something to consider whenever you want to pay a guy like that. That he is kind of reliant on. It's kind of like Dak Prescott. That's why I wasn't huge on paying Dak Prescott, because without Amari Cooper, Dak Prescott is not the same quarterback, or at least he wasn't. I think last year he proved me wrong, though. So maybe I was wrong about that. But it's very interesting. It's a very interesting story.
Yeah.
So where's
no doubt.
Would you want him on the Patriots?
We will definitely. Me and JD will keep an eye on that, guys.
Yeah, we gotta keep
an eye on that for sure. But thanks for the update. So I do have two more Celtics I have two more basketball topics, JD. Let's start with the Bulls. So here's the question: Can they make a run? Can they make a run at it? Can they get through the? Can they compete with the Bucks?
Whew, man. It's hard for me to answer because I'm a Bulls fan, like, to my heart. So I want to say, of course we can. We can make it all the way. We can make a title run. I do have legitimate questions, though. Who matches up with Embiid? Who matches up with Giannis? I don't think Vucevic is up for that defensive challenge.
He would have to have help. He would have to have help for sure.
Who's helping him? Also, my other thing is, we seem to be as skilled and talented as we are. The Bulls is skilled and talented and not lacking for teammate or teamwork and just such a well-rounded team we are. We seem to be made out of glass. Everyone's hurt all the time. Zach LaVine's going to, I think, a knee specialist in a couple days. We have Lonzo Ball's hurt. Alex Caruso's hurt. Everybody, Patrick Williams is hurt. Everybody seems to get hurt this year. So would I like to believe that we can make a run? Yes, but we can't be relying on DeMar DeRozan to drop 40 every night like we have been in the regular season. I don't think it'll be that simple for him in the postseason. And maybe this is different DeMar DeRozan. Maybe it is. But I'm excited to see it, is all I can say. I'm excited to see the run. But what do you think? Do you think my Bulls have a chance to at least the Eastern Conference Finals?
I think they have a chance to make a deep run. I do. It all depends it depends on who's left. You know what I mean? Because if we get an upset or something and somebody gets knocked out that that could kind of challenge them, it would make their pathway to that, to the Eastern Conference Final easy. I mean, do they have the coaching and the talent to make a run at that? Absolutely. I would think so. The East is wide open right now. It's wide open. It's anybody's game. You see the standings. Everybody's within 5 or 6 games of each. It's close, man.
Well, yeah, and I think that a lot of the good teams are relatively discombobulated, or they could be discombobulated. First of all, the Nets are definitely who knows with the Nets. First of all, health and who just they're just a giant question mark. And the Sixers, who are the other team that I could picture, we don't know yet. That's something that we're going to keep a close eye on though over the next couple of weeks. But the Bucks are the only team that I'm legitimately like, okay, if the Bulls face the Bucks, they're screwed. Like I just don't see if Giannis is Giannis from last year, if 2020 Giannis or 2021, excuse me, if 2021 Giannis comes back for the playoffs in 2022, it's a wrap for everyone who he finds. That man was unstoppable. He was absolutely unstoppable. But yeah, exactly, Adam. It's hard to see anybody beating the Bucks. But other than that, I agree. It's wide open. Other than the Bucks, if we can just kind of avoid them and they get upset by somebody else, maybe. But
that's what I mean. I think if you could avoid the Bucks until you get to the title game, it might be interesting, because if you guys build momentum, you know what I mean? If you build up momentum, it's all, like you said, it's all matchups though. Who are you gonna, you're never gonna stop Giannis. So it's how do we slow him down enough to the point where we can stay in this game and give ourselves a chance?
Or how do we stop everybody else? That's another thing we could consider.
Or you just let Giannis get his points and stop everyone else around him. Like the strategy would be interesting. Which way they kind of decide to go with it will ultimately be, I think, how far they're willing to go. But I think they could, to be honest. I think they got the talent to make a good run at it.
I just can't wait to see it. And I can't wait to get everybody back healthy. I can't wait till everybody's back in uniform and we have 10 deep again, like we did at the beginning of the season. We were really rolling. So that's what I want to see. Levine, we need Levine back. We need him back 100% too. We can't just have him back like 50% or whatever he's been. We need him to be Levine. So depends on Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan's done a good job. I criticized him when he was with the Thunder, but he's done a damn good job in Chicago. And at the end of his career,
he's done a pretty good job.
He's a good coach. Let's see.
He's definitely done a really good job there.
Sandro says Celtics are building momentum. Yeah,
so let's talk about that for a few.
Do it.
All right. Let's talk about that for a few. The Celtics are rolling right now, 9 in a row. They absolutely demolished the Sixers last night. At one point, they were up 57.
Wow. That's wild. No, I mean,
at one point they led the game by 57 points, and I think they beat them by 49 or 51 points.
No, I mean, yeah, and I think that Jaylen Brown has taken the leadership role. Tatum, he's still Tatum. He's still playing his game. He just hasn't really evolved much in the last couple of years. But they are featuring Smart, and they're spreading the ball around more. And that's the name of the game. You know what I mean? Like if they're an unselfish team, if they're an unselfish team, they have the talent to compete with anybody. They can win the whole damn thing. Like they have enough talent for it, I think. But that was never the question. It was always, can they get their head out of their ass and just play for the team, right? Like, yeah. That's pretty much it. You got to be unselfish in Boston. So,
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, do you think they can continue this run all the way to the playoffs? Get a top 5 seed?
I don't know if they'll be on the tear that they're on right now, but I still think they can continue at a high level.
Maybe make the playoffs.
I think they have finally figured some stuff out, and I think it. I didn't want to say I wrote them off. I was unhappy with them at the beginning of the year because they were not playing to the level at which Like the talent was there for them to play
Sure.
like this. They were giving up. They were giving up in games early on. They weren't like, there was no fight. There was no like, it was hero ball, dude. It was ISO
Yeah.
ball left and right all the time. ISO ball, hero
Yeah, I
ball.
saw it a couple times. It was
There
bad.
was no like, they were playing selfish basketball. They were playing selfish ball. And I don't know, Ime Udoka, I don't know. Somebody must have got to them and said, guys, if this is not going to work. This is not going to work the way we're doing this. Like, if we're going to continue like this, our season's done. Like somebody, I don't know if it was the coach or the players had their own, players meeting, but somebody got to them and they started sharing the basketball. I mean, Tatum had 28 last night and no, Jaylen Brown had 29 and Tatum had 27. So like the two guys, the two young kids are sharing. They're playing the way that they should have always been playing from day one. The unselfish basketball and fast ball movement. If you watch their games, the ball moves quick. It moves fast. It's hard to defend that way. And they have big men that can shoot. Al Horford can shoot. Daniel Tice now can shoot. He can play. He plays a hard-nosed defense. They're finally playing the way that they should have been playing from the beginning of the season. And like I said, I don't know what happened. Somebody or something, whether it was the players themselves or a coach, someone got to them, and they're finally buying into that system.
Yeah, 100%. And it shows on the court, and you can tell that the more unselfish they are, the more Jaylen Brown looks like the leader. And also I noticed that they just have they look for the open pass, and the acquisition of Derek White and what's the other guy's name? Getting him back, their other center. He was on
Rob
the Bulls.
Williams.
What's that?
Rob Williams?
No, he was on the Bulls for a little while. Big white dude, center.
Daniel Tice?
Yeah, Daniel Tice. Thank you. He's getting him back and getting especially Derek White from the Spurs in that 4-team trade. That was masterful.
That White move was huge. Dude, that's a crazy story too. So they flew him from San Antonio to Boston in the morning, and then that night he played. Yeah. So like they traded him. They put him on a plane in the morning, flew him to Boston, flew his family to Boston, and then he played that night and scored 15 points.
And he played well. Yeah, he played really well. I watched a little bit of it. It was good. I was like, damn, right on. Like you just hop in, plug and play. It was very nice.
No, it was like, and like you said, dude, that Derek White's going to help them. He's going to help them a lot. He is. That's taking pressure off of Smart. You know what I mean? And he's see, like having him on the court too is they turn into a tough team to play, because you got Marcus Smart, who's a high effort, high energy, high motor guy. Yeah. And then Derek White's kind of the same thing. So if you got both of those guys on the court, both of those guys are two-way guys. They'll go down the other end and they can shoot and play hard on offense, but they'll get in your face. Like Marcus Smart and that Derek White kid aren't afraid to step up and and defend you from 6 inches instead of, 3 feet. They're like, and when you have not only one, like Marcus Smart on the court's tough enough to get around like that, but when you have another guy with a high motor like that, it helps Ime Udoka's system too, because White is a good passer as well. So he, you know what I mean? It's worked well, dude. Ever since he's got here, it's worked really, really well.
I think they're all like they fit together well, and they have more depth than they had before the trade deadline. They have a lot more depth than they had before the trade deadline, and that matters a lot, like going into the playoffs and when you're on the bubble, because that's where they're at right now. They're fighting for that last few, like 3 or 4 seeds, and if they can stay rolling, they'll definitely sneak into the playoffs for sure. And who knows what could happen when you get there? Who knows what could happen? But for sure, yeah, Celtics are starting to put it together, man. Bill says, I think the Bengals will be in the Super Bowl bound with Rob Gronkowski on that team. I think Rob joked, or he was saying
So let's talk the Super Bowl for a few. All right.
Oh, sure, yeah.
For a few.
Excellent.
That was a good game.
Oh, it's a very good game.
That was a really good game.
Yeah.
Now,
Excellent.
I will say this: the officiating once again was questionable. Like
There's a couple bad calls.
So there were a few bad calls. The Bengals secondary was holding the Los Angeles Rams receiver
so much,
a lot, and they got away with it a lot. Like they got away with it a lot. There was a lot of grabbing in the secondary for the Bengals. But my thing is if you're gonna let them play, right? And they were letting them play in the first half, right? Then you got to let them play in the second half too. No more ticky tack. Don't like that 3rd and goal where the Bengals guy had the Bengals linebacker had his arm on the back of the guy and they called the holding and there was no hold. Like this is the problem that I've had with the officiating this whole year has just been the consistency. If you're going to do it at the beginning of the game, you can't change how you're calling the game at the end of the game too. That holding call on 3rd and goal should have never been called. Because they were letting them play like that the whole game. So why in the final 5 minutes of a game are you going to change what you want to? You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
That was my biggest gripe with it. It's like if you're going to do it, if you're going to let them play, then let them play from whistle to whistle. Don't change it.
No, I agree. I think that regardless, the Rams would have won the game. I think no matter what, the Rams would have won the game. But there was a few things that I was like, okay, so this is a hold, but this isn't a hold. And also, I think it was like the Bengals. The Bengals were really having a tough time, especially in the second half, the entire time. And if it weren't for that face mask, they wouldn't have even had a touchdown. So there was a straight up face mask just blown, completely blown. It was, and the worst part was, it wasn't like there was a bunch of people around for that to be blown. It was literally just Jalen Ramsey and T. Higgins. And T. Higgins grabs his face mask, pulls it.
And pulls it. Like,
just
dude,
doesn't even.
What?
As if nothing happens. And that was wild. So it's absolutely, I mean, you could just tell it was just a lack of awareness. Maybe this guy wasn't used to doing the Super Bowl. He was nervous or something like that. I don't know what it was, but he definitely blew some calls on both sides of the ball. The Rams deserve to win the game, especially with how they played at the very end of the game. Because that's what matters most. That's what matters most at the end, in my opinion. Like, how do you play at the end?
Yeah.
And the Bengals just, it wasn't even Burrow or the receivers or the defense. It was the O-line. It's kind of like what I said and what Vegas predicted is that the O-line, which has been bad all year,
would let them down when they needed them the most.
Would let them down at the moment of truth. Who are you as a team? Well, we have a crappy offensive line and we're the Bungles, and we bungled the Super Bowl. So no, it was a hell of a game though. It was a hell of a game, and the people that were talented on the Bengals, like the receivers, Burrow, and the defense, they all played amazing, and we got to give our hats off to them.
Yeah, no doubt, dude.
They played amazing. They really did. So, you having some camera focus issues?
There we go.
Yeah, it was
but no, dude, it's me and you. We talked about it in the preview. Like can the Bengals offensive line, which is the weak link in that team, could they hold up against the defensive front? And I will say this, right? The defensive adjustments that the Rams made were brilliant in the second half because they saw that left or right guard was the weak point, and they said, all right, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put Aaron Donald on the opposite side of that guard. So your center has to go help, right? So the center would have to help with Aaron Donald every time. And then they would just bring Von Miller on a twist right through that gap.
Yeah.
The whole game.
He was so good.
It was a brilliant defensive adjustment. It was brilliant. They let him. The Bengals got away with it the whole first half. They got away with taking their center and chipping Aaron Donald and then having him do his regular blocking assignment. So he would help for the first 1 second of the block and then go and block his normal assignment. The Rams, I think it's Wade Phillips, who is the Rams defensive coordinator, I think.
Is he still? He might be.
I don't know if he's still. I know he was. Forget correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I believe he might be. That defensive adjustment changed the game.
Yeah.
That one adjustment was huge. That one adjustment changed the game. After they made that adjustment in the second half, the Bengals couldn't do anything.
It was Raheem Morris.
Raheem Morris. That's from, it was more. Okay, Raheem Morris.
He's a beast. Yeah. He's a great coach. Yeah.
So, but that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, no doubt, dude. No, he did. He dude, at the end of the game, it was a 1 versus 1, and he just ran the guy over. Yeah. No.
The last play.
Yeah, that was Aaron Donald versus a weaker opponent. That was Aaron awesome. Donald versus a weaker opponent.
Well, if you remember, the Bengals were trying to hurry. They were trying to hurry. They were trying to be like, all right, we're going to do a quick count. That way we'll get a quick play off of them, and then we'll trick them. And they were just going to do a quick gut run. And Aaron Donald's like, no, you don't. He was like, absolutely
that's why that was the biggest question going into that game is that defensive adjustment from Morris and the second half changed the whole game. He said, enough's enough. We're not gonna, if you want to double Aaron Donald, they would, every time Donald would get doubled, every time the center would stunt over and help, they would run that stunt. Von Miller would come right behind. If you watched it, either Von Miller or one of the other linebackers would come right behind Aaron Donald, and it would be a wide open shot because there'd be nobody to block him.
They were really good.
The Rams defense in the second half was brilliant. They were brilliant.
No, it was amazing. It was really good. Bill, I think he already responded to that. He said there should have been a penalty when Aaron Donald sacked Burrow. I think you said, yeah, you agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said he had a 1v1. He poured that poor offensive line. He ran him over.
No, he did. At the end of the game, that's, you know what that is? That's one of the best defensive players in the league making a play. That's what that is.
Yep.
That was Aaron. Aaron Donald was not going to be denied a Super Bowl. He won that
Super Bowl in that one play.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That Aaron Donald Super Bowl can be compared to the play that the sack that Donta Hightower made that changed the fortune for the Patriots in the Atlanta Super Bowl. It knocked Atlanta out of field goal position to put that game away. That was awesome. The same kind of play. Hightower made a play to change the game. Aaron Donald made a play to win.
That's heroic.
Guys like that make, top defensive guys like that make plays. Donald is one of the best defensive players in the last 10 years to ever step foot on a football field. And the dude just made a play. He wasn't going to be denied a ring.
And it would be so easy to give him the Super Bowl MVP, but the guy who got it, you really can't argue with. Cooper Kupp has been all year, one word, unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable. There's nothing you can do about Cooper Kupp.
And here's so people are crapping all over Eli Apple for that. Apple was all over Cooper Kupp. He was in his face. Kupp just made a good play. He ran a great route. The comeback route, Kupp turned around. He turned back shoulder. So Stafford threw that football where that was either going to fall incomplete or Cooper Kupp was going to be able to grab it at his knees. And what happened? He made a play and caught it at his knee, at the top of his knees.
He's unstoppable.
It was a great throw and a great route. And Eli Apple there was nothing he could have done. There was nothing that cornerback could have done to play that ball better.
And it wasn't like they weren't doubling him and putting him into zones and trying to take away Cooper Kupp. They were trying to take him away the entire game. They could not. And in fact, the game would have been a blowout if it weren't for OBJ getting hurt in the second quarter. If OBJ doesn't get hurt,
if Odell Beckham was still on the field, that game would have been a 17-point difference.
Yes, I 100% agree. They were tearing them apart. Like, I think it was like 3 straight drives where they were just marching up and down the field. They got lucky. The Bengals did, I'm pretty sure, with the field goal or with like a 3rd and out or whatever, like in reds or, well, probably on the 30. But either way, so they were scoring. They were scoring when OBJ was in. Then OBJ comes out. They have to adjust the game plan. They still try to take Cooper Kupp out of the game, but you can't because he's absolutely unstoppable. So that was incredible. That was a really incredibly played game by the Rams. They proved that they were the Super Bowl champions, that they were the best team in the NFL because nobody had more momentum than the Bengals. Nobody had more momentum. And I mean, I guess the real question is,
and listen to this, right? Yeah. The stats for OBJ. Did you see like the betting lines? People were saying that Odell Beckham was going to get 2 touchdowns in that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were predicting 100 yards for OBJ because of the way that the defense was set up for the Bengals, and they were going to try and the Bengals were going to say, you are going to beat us with everybody but
Cooper
Kupp. Yep. So the over under and the betting lines for the stats for OBJ were like 100 plus and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's amazing, and Cooper would not be denied. It didn't matter what you did. He just was simply like, no, I'm gonna still make plays.
Me and you talked about this a little bit off camera. One of the guys that benefited the most from going to the Rams was Odell Beckham.
Yeah,
because OBJ isn't drawing cornerback 1 coverage anymore. He's drawing nickel and dime guys, who are cornerback 2, who are 3s and 4s. Usually the nickel and dime coverage guys are usually the 3rd guy on the depth chart. OBJ can beat those guys 8 out of 10 times, Yeah.
I mean, it's especially when you give them 1-on-1.
That's what I mean. You're going 1-on-1 with a cornerback 3. And granted, OBJ's lost a step or 2. He's not the guy he once was, right? But he's still better than a cornerback 3.
He's a hell of a possession receiver. Yeah. He's a hell of a good quarterback or a good wide receiver. He can catch almost anything if you put it in his vicinity.
The game would have been a lot different if OBJ was held. Like they would have fed him. Because they would have fed OBJ a lot.
They would have spread the ball around everywhere. And they had to literally almost just feed Kupp into triple coverage at the end. That's what made that final drive so amazing. That's what made it so memorable.
Forced fed him the whole time.
And it worked
in
the Super Bowl against the other best team in the world. Like that just doesn't happen very often. It's hard to, it's wild.
This should also be a massive message to the Bengals, though. They need cornerback help, and they need it bad.
And offensive line. That's like their 2 hugest needs, especially offensive line.
Because the Bengals linebackers are pretty good. The middle of the field for them is pretty good, and the defensive line is good. This Super Bowl should be a wake-up call for them that they need to get some better cornerbacks and they need an offensive line. If they don't, you know what's going to happen to Joe Burrow if they don't protect him? Andrew Luck 2.0.
Yeah. No, it's hard to argue. Yeah, like he's getting his ass kicked out there. There was that one play that made his girlfriend cringe.
When he rolled his ankle.
Zoomed in. Yeah, well, did he broke his ankle yesterday?
No, when he rolled it. When he rolled his ankle underneath him.
And he still played tough as nails. The kid is absolutely tough as nails. Like he's basically Tom Brady. He doesn't feel pain. So that's definitely or at least like he doesn't feel it long. But the chat's talking about the speculation about Sean McVay. Have you heard about that?
He will not retire. As far as I've heard, if you think about this, you're in your mid-30s and you just won a Super Bowl and you have a team like that, there's no way. There's no way. He wants more. McVay wants more. McVay, you know what it is now? McVay has his legacy. He wants now he gets to add to it. You know what I mean? Now that he has the title, now that he's won the ring, he wants more, dude. I don't think he's going anywhere.
So I was listening to a lot about this, a lot of podcasts and a lot of stuff like that, and I've learned some information about it actually. And apparently, Stan Kroenke does not want to pay him as much as Bill Belichick. And there's a huge ego thing here where Sean McVay wants to get Belichick money, which is $15 million a year. And
there's no way though. He doesn't warrant it. One title doesn't mean 15 million.
He has 8 million, but he's saying I'm the best coach right now. So his leverage is, okay, well, if you don't want to pay me and extend my career, I'll retire for 1 year, go to ESPN, sign a $15 million deal there, and then I'll find a new team because there's a chance that he's going to lose half of his team this year. Now, do I think he's actually going to do that? That would be pretty crazy. And not only that, but not that many people would want to work with him after that, I'm sure. Now, would someone give him another shot? Sure, but he would have a short leash. And he also, I don't know if you were going to make 15 million. It's kind of like, it reminds me of a Le'Veon Bell situation. You might hold out for a year just to not get what you wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's just, his wife wants to retire to spend more time with her. Yeah, every wife wants their rich husbands to retire to spend more time with them. Come on, Bill. That's every time a man gets like $10 million, the wife's like, all right, let's go on vacation every weekend. Because why wouldn't they feel that way? They love their husbands, and that's sweet, but that's just not realistic. No, I mean, he might. I mean, shit, I don't know his life. He might. I'm just thinking, like, practically speaking, like, you're one of the young coaches in the world. Why would you stop now? It doesn't make any sense.
McVay's going to look to add to his legacy. He's not going anywhere. He is not going anywhere.
I don't think so either. I don't think he's even leaving the Rams. I think Stan Kroenke will give him like $3 more million a year.
Kroenke will give him a little bit of a bump.
Yeah.
He'll get a little bit of a bump. He will.
And that's all you need.
And by the way, Bill doesn't make 15 million. He makes 25.
Really? Did he really make 25?
20 to 25.
Why did I hear 15? I don't know why I heard 15.
20 to 25. That's the reported behind the scenes rumors, and the guys that are plugged into the team say between 20 and 25.
I mean, he deserves it. He's fucking Bill Belichick. I mean, god damn.
Yeah, that's what, and also that's why there's rumors. That's why they couldn't really give Brady the money, because Bill's getting between 20 and 25.
That works against the cap? Does that really work against the cap?
I think so.
That would be wild if that's. I didn't know that about the NFL.
But
I don't know much about the NFL.
But that's what I mean. Bill's getting rumors and closed door hearings between 20 and 25. It ain't 15.
Not disclosed though. It's not disclosed.
No,
so
but it's between 20 and 25.
So, yeah. No, I mean, is it possible, chat? Sure. It's possible. I don't think it's going to happen. I wouldn't bet my money on it. I'd give it like a 10% chance that that's true. I think that's just leverage, but there's always leverage. People are always saying stuff like that. Like, Brady has a house in LA. That means he's going to leave, wherever and go to LA. Like, Brady has a house everywhere. He's freaking Tom Brady.
No, I know, man. I know.
Yeah. But interesting topic though. It's an interesting thought. Youngest coach in the league retires all of a sudden. Be weird.
But you got anything else, my man?
Oh, yeah. Or really quick. I forgot what was one more basketball thing I wanted to talk to. I did hear Brady might come back too. I heard that, Bill.
I tell you, if he pulls a Brett Favre, I'm not going to be happy. Like, if you decide to retire, stay retired.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
The only reason I would want him to come back, a one-day deal in New England to sign and retire for good as a Patriot.
See, that would be nice.
That's the only way that I would accept him coming back. But seriously, it would piss me off if he came back to sign with like the Niners or something. You know what I mean? Like, it would piss me off.
Yeah, I've heard that. Like,
it would piss me off. It would.
That would be weird. That would be absolutely weird. And honestly, I don't know how I'd feel about it. I really was rooting for Tampa Bay Tom. I loved Tampa Bay Tom. He was my favorite version of Tom. But
you know what I mean? It would upset me, because it's like, dude, you said you retired. What are you doing? And then he pulls Brett Favre. and then he pulls a Brett Favre like that. I don't know, man. I would kind of lose a little bit of respect for him.
It would give you a little cringe. I'm not going to lie. I feel like he left at the perfect time. You know what I mean? You got 5,300 yards. You got the leading touch. I think it was like 43 touchdowns. You know what I mean? Just, you're good. You're fine. You led the league in passing. Just go off into the sunset. You were an amazing quarterback. Also, I heard something like Giselle wanted to basically was considering divorcing him if he stayed in for too long in the NFL because she's a busy woman. You know what I mean? I kind of understand her from that perspective. He's extended this a long time. But as far as I don't think he's coming back either, Rick. I agree with you. But as far as any last topics, I think we're good for now. I'm just really excited for the playoffs. I'm excited for the All-Star break. I'm excited just because things after the All-Star break, that's when basketball gets really good. That's when people are actually trying after the All-Star break. So,
well, yeah, that's because it's the second half of the season and it gets serious.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, we need to get the seeding before the playoffs start. So I'm excited for that. I'm probably gonna be watching basketball every single day. I've already actually been watching basketball almost every day for the last few months, but even more so now. Every game I find, I'm going to be watching it, and I'm really excited for the playoffs. A lot of you guys know in the chat, Karam knows basketball is my favorite sport. I do love football, but basketball is my favorite sport. I even have a basketball pillow. I love basketball. I can talk about basketball forever. So, yeah, my man. Another thing I just want to say, like I said last week, we all fucking love you, man, and we know you're kicking the shit out of this thing. And, yeah, we're all here to support you. Much love. I think I can speak for everybody in the chat when I say that. But
I appreciate it, man. So things are going well. We're headed to Boston in 2 weeks to start beating this thing into submission. We got the official doctor's appointment set up for 2 weeks. We're working with the best doctor for this specific diagnosis in the state.
Hell yeah, dude. That's
so
what you want to hear.
We're gonna get this. We're gonna get this knocked out.
Punching into remission real quick. Quick, bro.
Oh yeah.
100%. And man, get your rest and freaking enjoy the games and stuff and everything have fucking fun, man. Enjoy yourself. He said, do it again, Bobby, or do it again, JD. Yeah, this is what Bobby's doing. He's just freaking Mike Tyson. This is knockout punch, bro.
We're going to get it, guys. It's like I said, this is going to be a marathon, not a sprint, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there.
Hell yeah, man. Love to hear it. Birdman says, I got a topic.
What's up, Birdman? What do you got, buddy?
Go.
What do you got?
Do it, my guy.
What do you got, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I just can't wait for more basketball to ramp up. So I'll have more hot takes, I'm sure. But things have been kind of slow with basketball. Well, not slow. There's been some good games. I've been watching a lot of Hornets games, believe it or not. They're a fun team. They're a really fun team, actually.
Yeah. So okay. Birdman says, where does Jimmy G go?
Where? Good question.
I'm gonna throw this out there, Birdman. Jimmy G goes to the Saints.
I saw
Jimmy. I think if the Saints know what's good for them, they'll go after Garoppolo. I agree with that. Should.
I think the Saints should go after Garoppolo because they have Alvin Kamara, and if they plan on keeping Alvin Kamara, which they kind of have to because no one's going to take that contract, I don't think. You should make a run with Garoppolo, see where you can take this team. Another team that would be pretty good if you can get a good deal, which I doubt it, for Carson Wentz somewhere. The Indianapolis Colts could probably use a guy like him. And the third team I've actually heard already, was reading, I don't know, it could be a blog nonsense. Pittsburgh is a good one too, Bill. That's a nice pick. The one that I heard though is the Washington Commanders or the Redskins, whatever you want to call them. I don't care.
No, I did hear, yeah, no, I did read something 3-4 days ago about Jimmy possibly going to Washington too. Yeah.
We're going to trade him a second or whatever for Jimmy G to go to Washington.
I don't think the Niners can get a first for him. I just don't.
I
I
wouldn't
don't think
trade
they can
one.
get a first rounder. A second and a third probably are more realistic.
I'd offer a second and a fourth, and I bet they'd get it.
Second and a
He's just
third.
going to
I
leave
think a
otherwise.
second and a third for him would be fair. A second and a
He's
third
fair.
for him would be fair.
Lee doesn't want him in Pittsburgh. He said, "I will rage."
I wouldn't.
He got
Lee,
better.
I wouldn't want him in Pittsburgh either.
He's better than
see.
Roethlisberger.
So we could do this because Pittsburgh's in. We could do this a little bit. Pittsburgh's interesting. Let's talk Pittsburgh for a little bit. They have a good enough. They need a quarterback and they need one bad. So here's what I see. I like with my teams. I like to think long term, like big picture. Like if I have to sacrifice a year or two to be good for the next 12. I would be willing to sit through that season or two of sacrifice to get what I need to get. You know what I mean?
Yeah, means to an end. Yeah.
So if I was the Steelers, this is how I would handle this. I would roll with whoever you're going to roll with this season, whether it's
Right.
Duck Hodges or Mason Rudolph, and just roll with it. Whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like Bryce Young a lot from Alabama. I like the kid Bryce Young a lot. I think he's going to be really good. And I would sacrifice this coming season, and build whatever you need minus the quarterback this year.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I mean?
I agree. Yeah, don't.
I would
invest too much.
whatever the Steelers need this year minus the quarterback, I think should be their biggest concern. So take care of everything around. So when you get Bryce Young, when you get your quarterback, because you're probably going to be picking 15, 16, you're probably going to be picking 13th to 17th if you roll with Mason Rudolph as your quarterback. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
You're probably going to be picking somewhere between 13 and 17, middle of the pack. Now, you could trade I would try and package a first rounder and somebody big, like in order to get Bryce Young, he's probably going to go top 6. So you're going to have to move some guys.
Have to move up.
But I would sacrifice this year and build everything around that team that I would need, and then worry about my quarterback.
No, I agree. And it's not worth none of these guys except for Kyler Murray, maybe Deshaun Watson, and maybe Russell Wilson are worth the Steelers' time, in my opinion. Anyone who's potentially available. Jimmy G is not worth the Steelers' time.
No.
What's
Russell Wilson, I think, would fit good there.
I think so too. I think he'd be a good fit.
They would need to draft. They still need O-line help, though. The Steelers definitely need offensive line help.
Or drafting, just like you said, drafting everyone but the quarterback and then waiting a few years. No, I agree with that. Like, I think it's something worth doing. I think that's definitely something worth doing. And if you have to trade up, you have to trade up for your guy. I wish the Bears had guys in place. See, that's the thing. The Bengals had no line ready for Joe Burrow. The Bears had no line ready for Fields. And both guys have gotten obviously Burrow got hurt. It's like the idea you have to have an O-line ready for your young quarterback or whoever's going to take over, your franchise guy. Like, it's only fair.
Birdman says, where does Watson end up?
Oh,
now,
God.
If memory serves me correct, he was cleared of the charges, right?
Yeah, I think
he was cleared. So if he's cleared, there's going to be no PR nightmare when he in it. So the Steelers should go after him, because let's be honest, Watson is a talent. He is a talent.
Absolutely.
So he would fit well on that team. If I'm the Steelers, I'm going after him. If I'm the Vikings, I'm going after him. If I am Miami, I'm going after him. I'm trying to think who Indy. If I'm the Indianapolis Colts, I'd go after him.
I don't see why, if he's cleared, I don't see why you don't. If you found no criminal wrongdoing,
He was cleared. The charges were all like, there's basically the dust from this has settled. There's teams out there that need a court, like, so there's not going to be a PR nightmare because it's cleared.
Yeah.
Everything, like we should start seeing Deshaun Watson stuff probably fairly quickly.
I would hope so. I mean, he's just been kind of in the ether. You know what I mean? He's just been kind of out there in space, and no one knows where he is or what he's doing. And he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and he hasn't been on the field for over a year. So it's definitely, you know, and maybe some things are true, maybe they're not. But bottom line, he was cleared of any criminal wrongdoing. So the courts found him innocent. Therefore, you can play football. This is what it is. So, yeah, if I'm a team, I want Deshaun Watson. As far as I know on the field, he's a leader. He's talented. He's accurate. Most of the time, he doesn't get hurt. So I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't want him. I just don't. And I mean, it seems like this has been this offseason. You have a lot of guys who potentially want to move around, want to be traded or want to be signed.
One of the things that bugs me, Aaron Rodgers isn't going anywhere.
Where's he going to go? You know,
he's not going anywhere, and neither is Devontae Adams. None of those guys are going anywhere.
I don't think so either. I think they're just going to they're going to run it back because what do they have otherwise? And where's Aaron who's going to trade a bunch of draft picks for Aaron or a bunch of young players for Aaron and then also pay him $45 million?
Yeah.
For Aaron.
So this is an interesting one. Gregor says, what do you think about Josh McDaniels with the Raiders? I'm gonna add to that too. So Ziegler and McDaniels and the Raiders, I don't know if it's gonna work, man. I really don't. I don't know if it's gonna work. I know the Patriots needed a change of voice in that room. I knew every coach's time kind of runs its course at some point. You know what I mean? Like it just comes time where it just runs its course. And I think McDaniels' time was just up in New England. I don't know if he's gonna I don't know if he's gonna work out in Vegas. I don't know. It's the last time he was a head coach, he was also very, very young and very stupid, and so I don't know if he's learned anything else. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know. There's a 50-50 shot that there's a 50-50 shot that it could either, that it could be really bad too.
I think that he will because he has a good quarterback. Will they be like a Super Bowl team? Like, I think I'll make the playoffs once or twice with that team in 5 years. But, yeah, cat. What are you doing? But she's I don't know. She's a tabby, but I think she's just a orange cat. I don't know. But anyway, I think that they'll be successful because they have Crosby, they have Carr. They need a lot of pieces. They need a lot of guys. Ultimately, I think that they'll be about as good as they were last year. And honestly, you can't get much worse organizational wise than they have been over the last 3 years. So it is what it is. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Mine's a rescue too. They found her on a farm and everything. Birdman. Yeah. I love my cats. They're nice. They're good cats. They're nice little cats. They're very friendly. Sometimes she always jumps on my computers though. It kind of pisses me off. Stop doing that.
Look at this. He don't care one. Look at this. Hold on. Check this out. Hey. Hey. What are you doing?
Now the cats are running the show.
What are you doing? Huh? You care? Do you care at all? Yeah? No? Nope. Nope. Nothing. Nope. Just straight chilling.
The videos.
But this off season is going to be very, very interesting. There's a lot of teams that could make splash. Teams are looking to get back into the playoff picture, and those and when you're desperate like that, and when you're looking to make a splash move, you could see some big names move around.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on with Russell Wilson. I don't know what's going on with Deshaun Watson. I definitely don't know what's going on with Kyler Murray. So that will be interesting.
We're gonna have to. Me and you will definitely stay up on. We'll stay posted on those three because those are three. QB watch. Those three are three huge names. If any one of those guys changes teams, that's a big move.
Huge. I mean, it's blockbuster. You're changing the identity of your franchise when you have one of those guys in your team. So, read my comment about Watson. Sorry, I didn't get to all the comments. I'm sure he said. What did he say? Bill says, "Oh, I heard Deshaun Watson. Two teams are Vikings and Steelers. Well, I mean, how long do they own his rights? I'm sure he'd like to go to those teams. The Vikings is interesting. That's a bad division. I say that as a Bears fan.
He's an instant upgrade from Kirk Cousins instantly. I wonder if you could trade Cousins for Watson.
I would think so.
Just swap them. Because the money the big thing that's going to hold that trade up is the money, because there's a $92 million Kirk Cousins deal that he's still on that deal. Right. So they still owe him like $28 or $30 million next year.
There'd probably be some dead cap there, and that kind of it's very interesting because we don't know, in my opinion, we don't know who's buyers and sellers. Are the Seahawks buyers or sellers? Are the Steelers buyers or sellers? Are the Eagles buyers or sellers? Who wants to make the playoffs and who wants to rebuild? There's a huge difference between that, and I guess we're going to see by who makes a run at these guys. That's why I think that Aaron Rodgers is a terrible choice over all these guys. He's a terrible choice because he's 40, for lack of a better explanation. He's old. He's old and he's overpaid. So I absolutely no. Aaron Rodgers wouldn't be my last choice. He'd be my last choice if I was trying to make a run at this thing. And also, he chokes in the playoffs. It is what it is. So every time he makes the playoffs, he chokes.
I want to ask the chat something. The just for real quick, because I want to ask the Bruins fans in the house, and we got one. What's up, Off the Wall Hockey? What's up, John? So, John, I want to get your opinion and just the chat's opinion in general. The Boston fans, Brad Marchand, the cheap shot delivered by Brad Marchand warranted a 6-game suspension where he skated up to the goalie and cross-checked him and kind of lit him up a little bit there. I want to know the Bruins fans in the chat. I want to know what you guys thought about that. I thought it was kind of bush league. But here's the thing, right? That's a Marchand thing. He's just that kind of rat on the ice. Every team has that one dude who's a little mentally unstable and does stuff like that. Every team has him.
I've been watching a little hockey lately. It's
so. He should have done a better job of keeping his emotions in check. That one's on him. That one was on him though. It was definitely unnecessary. I mean, his emotions got the best of him, but it doesn't surprise me that something like that happened. Because he is, like I said, every team's got that one guy that's like that on your team. You got to have that one guy that sets the attitude.
Absolutely. Hell yeah, man. You always need that one beast. He said it would have been 3 games for anybody else, but Marcon's history screwed him. It was a stupid play on his part.
No, it was a stupid play. It was stupid on his part. Yeah. But see, like, it's his history. It is who he is. He's done stuff like that in the past, so they kind of drop the hammer on him. I agree. No, I agree. It was stupid on his part. He should have tried to keep his emotions in check, but it didn't surprise me that it happened. Because it's just who he is. You're not going to change him. He'll do it again next season. He'll do it again. He would do it again. He would. No, he would. He would.
Oh yeah,
he would. But what else? Anybody? Y'all got anything else? Any other topics y'all want to hit on? JD, you got anything you want to?
I'm good, man. That was a great show. I mean, I just appreciate you making the time for us, man. It's between all your treatments and everything, we got love for you, my man. That's all I can say.
Like I said, man, it's. Well, I don't want to let this. If I feel good enough to do an episode, I want to do an episode. I want to come on here and talk to you guys. I'm not gonna.
Oh yeah, bro. So I got one more.
I got about you. My energy nowadays is about 2 hours. So I got about 2 hours worth of energy I can do for stuff, and then you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why not? All right, Birdman's got one more. So what do you got, bud?
We got Birdman. He said we should put Watson in. That's funny, Bill. Yeah, what do you got, Birdman? What's that topic? Excuse me.
He says, how far can the Celtics go this year?
We did touch on that earlier, but yeah, we definitely touch on it again.
So we talked about it. They're playing really well right now. Mm-hmm. I think it could carry them on a deep run. The Eastern Conference Finals, I don't know if they'll be able to get there. It's just simply because of the talent that they're going to be facing. I think they're ultimately just going to run into a buzzsaw that's a better team than them. But can that scrappiness and fight get them on a good run? I think they could have a good run in it if they continue to play like this. Absolutely, and they get healthy. I think they could make it interesting. That's what I'm going to say. They could make it interesting for some people. If they get into the playoffs. If they get into the playoffs and they're playing like this and they can continue to play like this, they're going to be a tough out.
No, I feel the same way. I mean, they could win it all. I mean, really, realistically speaking, they could win it all. Will they? I don't think so. They're really far behind now. They just started to pick up some momentum. If they can carry that momentum into the playoffs, they have as good a chance as anybody.
The chat kind of so me and the chat are in agreement. It's the depth that's ultimately gonna get them. That's what's ultimately gonna get them. They need two more solid bench pieces to really, really, really compete. Like really compete.
I think the White pickup is really good, but I don't know if it puts you over the top.
Yeah. The starting five is playing really well, but the problem is after that they don't have much. You know what I mean? After that they just don't have much. That's what makes the Bulls and the Bulls, the Bucks, the Warriors. That's what makes these top eight teams in the league dangerous, because not only are the starting five good, but they got 3 guys on the bench that you got to worry about too.
Yeah, and they can use different lineups, and it adds different dimensions. So could the Celtics get there? It's possible. They have to do a lot of work from here to the playoffs, though.
It all depends on the matchups too. They could get bounced in the first round too if they got to play. If they got to play a team if they got to play a team that's a bad matchup for them, like Atlanta, and like the Hawks have given them fits all year. Like if they play a team that's a bad matchup for them, it could be bad.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I always look at like who's the best player on a great team. That's why if I had to choose two people, like gun to my head, two Eastern teams to make the playoffs, it'd be either the Sixers, and that's just on paper, or probably the Bucks. That's the one I lean. I lean the Bucks. But yeah, that's
Vegas says, who do we like in the West? The Warriors.
I like the Warriors. The Lakers are absolute trash. And I mean, the West has like four teams that could make, in my opinion, could make a serious run. Even the Grizzlies have a serious chance. But I like the Warriors. I like the Warriors for sure.
No, me too. Me too. Me too. I think the Warriors are coming out of the West, and then I think the East is wide open. It's anybody's game in the it's literally anybody. It's either going to be the Warriors or the Suns. That's it.
Yeah, I agree.
Those two teams. I will say this: if the Western Conference Finals comes down to Warriors and Suns, that's going to be one hell of a series.
Woo! Yeah, that'll be one for the ages.
That is going to be one hell of a series. Warriors, if it comes down to the two teams that I think it's going to come down to, the Warriors and the Suns, that's going to go at least 6.
Heck yeah. What up, Carlos TV? Man, yeah, still mad about the trade deadline. Well, it's his fault. He got himself into that trouble, Rick.
LeBron has nobody to blame for the issues for the Lakers but himself. Seriously.
Also, like, I just want to say this about LeBron. I'm done with him. Yeah. I have nothing like this. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Kobe in 2014, 15. You were great, Kobe. Thanks for the times. You know what I mean? It's over. It's like Michael Jordan when he went to the Wizards. We're done with you. Like, you're no longer the best player in the world. It's over. You know, he's still good. He still has his moments. He's missed 17 games this year for rest.
Yeah.
So
he's clearly we are seeing the wind down of LeBron's career. This is the twilight. This is the twilight of his career. He's not going to play for much longer, man. He's not going to play for much longer.
It'll be because he's on a really good team and he just happens to be a good piece on the team. It's not because he's the catalyst. That time ended, in my opinion, 2019. For instance, his 2020 season, the 2020 title he won, he wasn't the best player on the team. So he was really good, but he wasn't the best player in the team. Now he's not even top 10 in the league. So
yeah, no doubt, dude. No, but that's what I mean. Like we're seeing the wind down of his career. And I mean, like, don't get it like so just to end it, like don't get it twisted. Like LeBron in his prime was really, really, really good. Like stupid good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 2017, 2018 LeBron. Oh my God. Stupid good. Like maybe the best peak I've ever seen. But yeah, it's over. It's over.
There was like a 4-year stint in LeBron's prime where he was just stupid. Just stupid good. Like you couldn't guard him. You couldn't stop him. And it's for that 4 years, he owned the league. He owned the league.
He didn't need anybody to play. Like everyone could be hurt and he could still win the game.
He drug that Cavaliers team to a title himself. Drug them to a like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, he drugged them all to the he drugged them the title like three straight times. They were always injured. Kevin Love was always injured. Kyrie Irving was always injured. And it was just he was really, really great. And when he went to LA, he had a really good team when he basically played GM for a while. He had a great team for 2 years. And now he's paying the consequences. Yeah. Also, he could have extended it. He decided, according to multiple reports, it was his decision to choose Russell Westbrook over Buddy Hield.
Yeah.
It's on you.
And Buddy Hield would have fit that system really good too.
So that's it. I mean,
you made your bed. That's him swinging for the fences instead of being smart, you know?
Yeah. And it didn't work. And this team is imploding. And it has like 5 Hall of Famers on it. And it's imploding. it's not good. The old Lakers are the old Lakers. That's what they are. This is kind of like when they had Karl Malone on the Lakers with Gary Payton. This is kind of the same thing. So,
but I think that's all me and JD got for you guys for today.
It was fun.
We appreciate you guys. Episode 27 in the books. And like I said, man, as long as I feel good, we're gonna continue to do this, man. I don't want, even while I'm going through treatments, if I'm feeling good and I you know what I mean, we're gonna do this, bro. This is gonna roll on. I might not be able to do the live games for a while, but guess what? If this is what is gonna need to happen, like, I'm not going away. I'm not you're not gonna stop seeing me. Like, me and JD are still gonna be a presence here. The show's still gonna go on. If there's a week or two in between, then I apologize for that, but
no, dude,
we're gonna continue to do the show, man. It's like I said, as long as I feel good enough to do it and sit here and just kind of hang and talk, we're gonna do it, man.
Yeah, your health is.
I really do, guys. I appreciate all of y'all. I do. I appreciate all the support, it helps, man. I've had my nights. I'm not gonna lie, man. I've had my bad nights, and you guys, just reading through the comments, man, and just having you guys you guys having my back has been huge. You guys have helped me through a couple of rough nights, and that's, I can't thank you guys enough for that.
Hell yeah, man. We'll always be here. That's what's up.
But I think that's going to do it for episode 27, guys. Me and JD love all y'all. We appreciate. Hey, Ross with a 20.
Damn, Ross.
Hey, my guy. Appreciate you. He said, "Sup, boys? Thoughts on Mac being ranked 16th and Fields being ranked 28th on the NFL QB index from 2021. Exciting times. Have a great one, boys." Thank you, Ross. Appreciate the donut.
Up, Ross?
What's up? I think Fields was ranked that low. One, because he had no help, and two, because of the it was like, what did you? I didn't expect. I kind of expected that. Mac had way better coaching. Mac had a better support system around him. Mac had a better offensive line. Mac had more help. So Am I surprised that Justin Fields at 28? No.
Yeah.
Am I surprised at Mac at 16? No, because I thought he was middle of the pack too. So it's like,
right.
Both of those, I'm not surprised. Mac had a good year, but he had a good offensive line in front of him, and he had a halfway decent system to work with. Fields had no offensive line and a system that was clueless. So, but you're the Bears fan, JD. What do you make of Fields' season?
I mean, it's just so, I'd love to make a determination, but I can't. I think I said it last episode that I'm not ready to judge Justin Fields until halfway through next year, or honestly, that's only if the line is fixed. I'm not ready to judge Justin Fields until 8 games into the line being relatively somewhat competent, at least top 25. It can't just be a complete crap fest. Offensive line, and you expect the quarterback to somehow develop. I mean, even Joey Burrow couldn't win a Super Bowl, and he was playing out of his freaking mind. You know what I mean? He couldn't win a Super Bowl because of his crappy offensive line. Also, the difference between Joey Burrow from year 1 to year 2. Now, granted, he got hurt, but from year 1 to year 2 was dramatic. The difference between Russell Wilson from year 1 to year 2 is dramatic. The difference between Dak Prescott from year 2 to year 3 is dramatic. So I think about that, and I think about, okay, well, let's just give him a little bit more time. Just give him a little bit more time and see where he's at. And honestly, 28, I mean, that just means it doesn't mean that much to me at this moment. Now, if he's 28 next year, he's not top 25 next year, at least top 20, then we might have an issue. But besides that, don't have much of an opinion, but we do love you, Ross. Hope to have you on soon someday, and much love to you, my guy. Hell yeah, good question.
Yeah, much appreciated, Ross. Thank you for the donation, buddy. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
But that's going to do it, guys. Me and JD are signing off for tonight. Episode 27 in the books. We appreciate all of the support, guys. Love y'all.
Oh, you were great, Ross. I love you guys. Peace out. Bear the fuck down. Let's go. See you, Red.
Let's go. All right. Hopefully we get baseball soon.
Yeah, I gotta pay attention.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Love y'all. Me and JD are out of here. We're
Peace,
gone.
boys.